Hey, what's going on, guys? You're right. My name's Mark, and I thought I'd put this video series together for eToro, basically like a comprehensive guide on how to do everything on eToro, from the very basics in terms of actually using the platform to kind of some of the fundamentals if you're looking to getting into trading and investing, that sort of stuff, because I've been in it for a little while, and I feel like I can help people. If I go on the news feed, I always see questions and that sort of stuff that I feel like I could help with, so I thought I'd put this together. So this is going to be one of the first videos of that. It's going to be for desktop and mobile, so I'm going to do the desktop version first because I mostly use my desktop, and then towards the end of the video I'll put a timestamp somewhere, or in the description I'll put a timestamp of when the mobile version is going to start, and yeah, so I'll put those together so you can skip to whatever one's most helpful. So today I'm going to go over how to open, buy and sell trades, which is not, so a sell, first of all I just want to clarify that a sell trade is not the same as closing a trade, right? Which is, so a closing a trade is where you're closing a trade that you've either opened as a buy or sell, but we'll go into it a little bit more, and I'm also going to show you how to do it so to set buy and sell trades when the markets are open and when the markets are closed, and kind of what the implications of that are. So if you want to skip to a certain bit, as I say, I'm going to put timestamps down, but let's get into it. So this is my real portfolio. You can see I don't actually have enough available cash to open or do any stocks, open stocks right now, so I'm going to jump into a virtual portfolio in a second, but I just thought I'd show you my real one just to know that I do kind of walk the walk, not just talk the talk. I'm not just giving tutorials out, and I don't actually do it myself. So you can see that I've got like a bunch of open trades. We've got 135 open trades, and these are the most recent through to the oldest. So yeah. Anyway, so let's get into it. So I'm going to jump on the virtual portfolio. Everything's the same on virtual. So what you see on virtual will be exactly what you see on your portfolio. So there's no difference really, other than this is fake money. So let's go and have a look. So this is my watch list. So let's start with opening a buy position when the market is closed, right? So first of all, what you want to do is you want to find the stock that you want to buy. Okay, so we're just going to use Apple as an example. So you just go up here into the search bar and you type the ticker in, or the name of the company, in this case Apple, right? So then you open it here, and then you'll see obviously the feed, stats, charts, research, a few options here, and then there's trade in the top right. Click trade. Now this is where some people get confused, and I see it in the news feed from time to time, where people are like, I've bought it and the price is going up, but I'm losing money. Why is it happening? Well, what they might have done is accidentally opened a sell trade, right? So what you want to do is if you think that the value of an asset that you're trading is going to go up, you want to make sure that you're buying it, right? And then in the inverse, if you think that the value of an asset that you're interested in is going to go down and you want to profit off of it going down, then you want to open a sell trade, right? So buy, sell, right? And I can go into the logistics of how that actually works behind the scenes. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple for now. But you can see obviously this market is closed. For the UK, the US market opens at 2:30 p.m. So it's like 1:30 a.m. right now, so it's closed. So we're going to set an order. So what you want to do is you can set the rate, or you can leave it at market. So what at market means is this price that you see here might not necessarily be the price that the trade opens at, because there is pre-market trading, and things fluctuate in the pre-market. If you want to check pre-market prices, what I use is marketwatch.com. So I'll leave a link into that, and basically you can go on there, you can search the ticker or the stock name, and then you'll see the pre-market price, and then you'll have an idea as to what it's going to open at. Or if you want to buy at a particular rate, then you can click rate, and then adjust it here. But I personally, because of the way that I trade, I always just leave it at market, because the few percent here or there doesn't make a difference to me. So that's that. Then obviously you want your amount of what your dollar amount that you're going to invest. So I'll just do the minimum here, for example, it's $50. You can choose units. So if you want 1 unit of Apple, you can change it to that, but I think it's very rare that people will do that. Then you want to set your leverage, your stop loss, and your take profit. When you're trading at 1 × 1 leverage, you're actually getting the asset rather than a CFD. Again, all of these things. First of all, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to try and help you out. But I am going to make videos on all of these different kind of nuances. And obviously, if you ask questions, then I'll be more inclined to make those videos in the future. I think I already have one on leverage anyway. I always do ×1 leverage just for simplicity's sake. Stop loss is pretty up intuitive. It's the when you want the trade to stop, when you've lost as much money as you're happy to lose. And take profit is where you obviously have made as much money as you're happy to make and you want to close it. So, because the market is not open, then you can do set order, right? Bosh, so that's done, set order. So we've set that order. There you go. So buy Apple, order placed there. And again, the inverse, if you want to do that, you just click sell. And then everything's the same process, right? Stop loss it, take profit. And then set order, but the sell would be a CFD, right? So there'd be fees attached to that and that sort of stuff. But I tend to stick away from selling, particularly on stocks like Amazon, Apple and Amazon, that sort of stuff. Right, so then if you want to check on your orders, you go into your portfolio, and then you got these 2 little arrows at the top, and then you can see that this order is ready to go. So basically, when the market opens, it's going to buy Apple at the market price. So it's a bit like if you imagine a shop, you're doing some online shopping, you've put an order in, right? The shop doesn't open until 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. When they open, they'll see that you've got your order, and then they'll put it in the post or whatever. But I hope that kind of puts it into more real life terms for you. And again, likewise for the sell, it will execute the sell. So there you go. So that's that. And then to close a trade, I'll just jump into my real portfolio quickly to show you how to close a trade. Bear with me 1 second, refresh that. So to close a trade, you go on an existing trade, right? You see it here. You can either click this X here, which will close the trade, or you can open it. Oh, you can open the trade, and then you can close it from here. Which, or can you? Maybe it's just that. Oh, tell a lie. So it's just you click this X here to close the trade, and then that'll close it out. So so that's that. So when the market is open, I will show you really quickly again on the virtual portfolio. So because of the time, something like 10 cent, which is actually quite a good stock as well, will be open. So again, just search the ticker and then trade, or open it there. Again, you got that there. You want to go to trade. Again, make sure you're clicking buy or sell, depending on whether you think it's going to go up or down. Put your amount in and your leverage and all that kind of jazz. And then you literally just click open trade. And then it's going to execute it for you. And there you go, that's your trade. And it's there. So that will show, the trade will show if you go onto the page of the stock on eToro, or your portfolio, it will show up in your portfolio. Oh, there you go. And if you want to close it, it's literally as simple as that. And then close trade. So I hope that was helpful. I'm just going to jump onto the mobile version now. So my face is going to go because I'm recording with my phone. But I'll do a voiceover for that and talk you through that as well. So yeah, let's do that. Right. So once you've found yourself on the mobile version of the app, so this is iOS or iPhone, that's what I use. I imagine it's going to be the same for Samsung or Android devices. If it's not, I apologize, it's probably not going to be very helpful. But it's pretty much a similar concept. So we're going to go and search for a stock that we want to trade, right? Which is Apple in this example. And then you can see there's a trade button here, right? Literally tap the trade. And then you've got buy, sell. If you've skipped to the mobile version, then it might be worth going back just to seeing all the explanations, because I don't want to explain it all over again and make the video 100 years long. But so you've got your buy and your sell options, and you literally just tap those to change it from buy to sell. You know that it will be a sell again because it'll be a CFD, and buy, if it's on ×1, will be actually buying the actual stock. I'm just going to switch to virtual really quickly, just so that I can actually show you the trades being open. So trade, there you go, and then you set your amount in there. So 50, just because that's the minimum, ×1, no stop loss, blah, 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 blah. And then set order. And again, if you go onto your portfolio on the app, and then this little drop down menu here will show you your orders, and there's the order we've just set on the desktop as well. So you can see that, right? And then you can go back to portfolio, and then again to open a real-time trade on the mobile app, search it there, tap it, trade, set the amount that you want to buy, again whether you want to buy or sell, depending on whether you think the value of the asset's going to go up or down. Open trade, and there you go, it will show you there that you've opened the trade. And again, if you go to your portfolio, it will be there. To close the trade on the mobile app, you can either swipe across, right? So swipe to the left, which will close the trade. And if you want to quick open a trade on something you've already got, you can swipe to the right. So you can do that. Oh, stop swiping. Or you can tap it, tap on the trade that you have to open it on the big screen, or like on a bigger view, and then just click close trade, and then close trade again, and then that will close that for you, assuming that the market's open. So yeah. So I think that's going to conclude episode 1. I think this is going to be episode 1. You know what I mean? One of the first videos to do this eToro breakdown. If you feel like I've left anything out of this, let me know. Again, as I said throughout, if you have any questions, let me know. You can always message me on Instagram. Yeah, Instagram's probably a pretty good way to message me. It's just Mark Freeman Official. That will be in the description. And give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you found it helpful. I'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff on this on a whole bunch of different topics, along with the other stuff that I have on the channel if you want to check that out. And it's Christmas as well, so that's the thing. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys some other time. Bye. Hey, what's going on, guys? Right, it's Mark, and I'm back with another eToro tutorial, where today I'm basically just going to go over what a dividend is. Does eToro pay dividends? How much does a company pay in dividends? And how to find that and how to see it in your account, basically. So I'll go over all those things. And as always, if you have any question about any questions about any of those, you can reach me in the comments, or you can reach me on Instagram, which is also linked in the description, and that sort of stuff. So, first of all, what is a dividend? So a dividend is basically, it's pretty straightforward. It's basically just the profits that a company pays out to its shareholders. So if you own shares in a company, you're a shareholder, and if they pay dividends or pay out profits, then you'll get a small portion of that, depending on what they're willing to pay out, basically. Does eToro pay dividends? Yes, it does. It pays dividends, obviously, depending on the companies that you're investing in. If you're investing in companies that don't pay dividends, and eToro is not going to pay you anything, right? So that should be pretty self-explanatory, but I thought I'd just clear that up. Another question is, when do you get the dividend payment from eToro? So that will depend, obviously, on company to company. They follow a basic timeline. So a basic dividend timeline is going to be your declaration date, the ex-dividend date, the record date, and the payment date. So declaration date is basically the company's board of directors get together, and they say this is what the dividend is going to be, and then they'll probably announce the timeline from there. So for the ex-dividend date, etc. So the ex-dividend date is pretty important. So that's something you want to pay attention to. It's basically, you have to have the stock before that date. You have to own the stock before that date to be paid. With eToro, if you have a CFD position, so basically anything that's leveraged for the most part as a general rule of thumb, you'll get paid the dividend to your available balance on the ex-dividend date. If you have a real asset, you have to own the stock for 2 business days before the ex-dividend date. So if the ex-dividend date is a Friday, you'd have to own it by the Wednesday, Thursday, yeah, Friday, for example's sake. So that's that. And then with the record date, the company basically just checks who's entitled to the dividend, and then the payment date is when it's paid, which is usually about a month after everything's been announced. As I say, but if you have a CFD on eToro, then you'll get the dividend to your available balance on the ex-dividend date. If you have the real asset, you have to wait until the payment date. And dividends are also typically paid once every quarter, so once every 3 months you can usually expect to be paid some kind of dividend. And so just for your own reference sake, so if you are interested in creating like a dividend type portfolio, first of all, a higher dividend isn't always necessarily the best, right? So if there's a company that's paying like 10% dividend yield, which dividend yield is basically just the annual dividend divided by the current share price. So if the share's down, then the yield can be higher, right? Because the share price will be lower, so you'll get more bang for your buck, if that makes sense. But yeah, just because the dividend yield is higher, so if it's like 10% or something like that, it's not necessarily a good thing. So you might want to look into the company behind it. Another thing for reference is established companies tend to pay dividends versus growth companies. So for example, things like Microsoft, Apple, that sort of stuff will pay dividends, whereas something like Tesla, for example, doesn't. I'll check. I'm pretty sure they don't. Just because they're reinvesting all of their money into growing the company and expanding, and that sort of thing. So that'll bring us on to the next thing. How do you check on eToro how much a company is paying in dividends? So let's look at Tesla, just for reference sake, and it's booming right now, so we'll have a look. So you'll go on the stock, so if you've got it in your portfolio, you can check it here. And you got feed, stats, chart, research, right, on anything, on most stocks on eToro. You want to go on to stats, and then they've got a little thing here that says dividend yield. So you can see the dividend yield on this is 0%, so you won't get any dividends from this. But if you look at something like Apple, and then you go on their page and you go on stats, you can see their dividend yield is 0.66%. So basically, over a year period, you'll get 0.66% based on this current share price of whatever you invest. So where does that show up in eToro? So if you have a look, so you can filter this. So you see this fee section, right? This is your dividend payment. If you can't see this, if you go to this little wheel here, you can change what shows up. So if you clicked on that, for example, it gives you a whole bunch of different options, and then obviously select fees and put that in there. So I'm going to filter for my dividends. So none of those. So you can see Pfizer's paid $7.22. That's paid $4.83, and so on and so forth. So that's what I've received in dividends. Now, just wanted to freeze that here for a second. This is the editing version of me. So, yep, that's correct. So the dividends, once a company pays them out, you'll be able to see them individually in the fees column. But the dividend also goes into your available balance, so you can buy stocks with it, you can withdraw it if there's enough for you to withdraw. It basically just, it's like you deposited money. The inverse is also true. So again, if you have a sell position on eToro and you're accountable for the inverse, they will deduct the dividend from your available balance, so it will be minus. eToro, if you have a buy position, then you're entitled to all of the all of the dividends, whether it's a CFD or a real asset. So CFD is basically, if you're leveraging it, it's going to be a CFD, and if it's ×1, then it's going to be a real asset. So you're entitled to the dividend. If you have a sell position, and if you don't know the difference between a buy and a sell position, I'll link a video that I've done before with that. But if you have a sell position, right, so you're betting against the company, if the dividends get released and you hold a sell position, you will be liable to pay the dividend, right? So if they paid out, for example, $7.22 here, this would actually be minus $7.22, and that would be deducted from your available balance on eToro because you're betting against the company. So you need to kind of like subsidize that, basically. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that clears up the whole. I mean, I think if I had £1 for every time I said dividend in this video, I'd be able to retire. So that's the thing. I hope that clears it up. If you have any questions or anything doesn't make any sense, as I say, hit me up. Let me know. I'll try and explain it a little bit better. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Yeah, subscribe if you want more content like this, and share if you found it helpful. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys some other time. Hey, what's going on, guys? Right, it's Mark, and I'm back with another tutorial, like eToro guide for beginners, like if you're just getting started out. So today I'm going to go over what a pending close is in eToro, because that can be quite confusing. Why have I just tried to close my trade and now it's gone into pending? And I'm just going to go into kind of all the questions you might potentially have about that. If there's anything that I miss out, then feel free to drop me a comment and I'll always get back to you. Instagram, eToro, YouTube, I'll be accessible on all of those. So let's start off with, so this is my eToro portfolio right now. I don't have anything that I want to close, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump across into my virtual, but everything is exactly the same. So it's literally just that it's virtual and not real, so nothing to worry about there. So basically, what a pending close on eToro is, it basically means that you've closed your trade, but the market for that asset that you're trying to close isn't open right now, so it's not able to execute on the trade or make the close happen. Hence the reason it's a pending close, right? So, for example, Apple is part of, if you go on here, you can see it's part of the NASDAQ. And then what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description. So it's an eToro page, and it shows you the opening times for all the markets. So it'll be the Forex markets, the cryptocurrency, which is 24/7, so you shouldn't have any pending closes there. And just all the different indexes that these funds will be part of. But I'll show you for example's sake. So basically, you go on here, you go to close your trade. Just a quick interjection from the editing version of me. If you don't know how to close trades, open trades, what a buy or a sell position is, click the tab in the top right. There should be a little pop-up now, and that goes into detail about that. Cool. You can see that the market is closed here on the page anyway. It will say market closed. But we'll go back on the trade real quick. Go to close your trade, and then you can see here, note your close order will be executed once the market opens. So there's a few warnings that this isn't going to execute straight away. And then go ahead and click close trade, and then you can see it goes into pending close. So for the UK, for Apple in particular, the NASDAQ opens at 2:30 p.m. So as soon as it hits 2:30 p.m, right now it's like 1 a.m, but as soon as it hits 2:30 p.m. today, this will close, and then obviously I'll have the money in my available balance or whatever I want to do with it. So that will close at 2:30, and yeah, and likewise, as I say, for whatever the market is when it will close. Another quick note from me, which is quite important: when the market opens, it will sell, or it will close your trade at the opening price. So it might not necessarily be the price that you're seeing on the screen. So if Apple falls 10% between the time you close the trade and the opening time of the market, it will close your trade at 10% lower than what you're seeing. So that's just something to pay attention to, and I'll go a little bit into detail about that later on. It's the same for copy trader as well. So if you're copying someone and you want to get rid of, if you want to stop copying their entire portfolio or parts of it or whatever it might be, if you stop copying them, you'll probably have a bunch of pending closes, which will basically be exactly the same thing. Once those markets open, your close will be executed, your close order will happen, and then you'll have your available funds again. So it's just a case of checking when the markets are open and when that will happen. Obviously, if the market's open, then it won't go into pending. So let's say you've done this by accident. So you've gone to close the trade. You don't want to close the trade, or you've changed your mind, or you've looked at the pre-market and you see that it's going to open and Apple's had some awful news and it's going to be 10% down, and you actually just want to hold on to it for the long term. You can always come back onto it, obviously providing that the market hasn't opened yet, and cancel it, right? So you see this cancel button here, and even if we come off of it, so if we go on portfolio and refresh it, have a look around, and then you come back and then go back onto the trade, it's going to be there pending close, and then you just go ahead and cancel it, and then it just goes back to just telling you the details about when you bought it and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just using that close trade, wash, cancel. So that's it really. That's everything to do with pending closes. If there was any confusion, I think that's everything. So that's copy traded covered, what a pending close is, how to cancel a pending close, and if you want to know the opening times for all the markets, I'll leave a link for that, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in like one of the eToro FAQs. With that being said, just a general rule of thumb, US markets usually 2:30 for the UK. So if you want to change your time, if you want to use a time converter and it's easier for you, generally it's 2:30. The European markets, I think it's 9 AM, although I don't get involved in them too much. Forex trades from Sunday evening till Friday night, I think, so Friday at 10 and then opens at Sunday at 11 PM. Crypto's 24/7, and I think that's everything for now. But I hope this was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up, share it on eToro. I'll probably drop this on eToro, and tag a bunch of like the beginner markets on there. It's usually Forex and crypto stuff. If you want to copy me, by all means go for that. Or if you just got any questions or want to chat or make some friends, then message me as well. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Right, it's Mark, and I'm back. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope everyone's had a good Christmas and New Year period. I thought that the best thing to kick the year off would be, who are the best people to copy in 2021? So, first of all, just a little disclaimer before I get this going. I'm not going to actively recommend anyone, so I'm not going to say you should follow X, Y, Z. I'm also going to not say, don't copy this person. I'm just going to tell you what my opinions are and what I would look out for if I was copying someone. I don't actively copy anyone at the moment, just because I'd rather have control of my own money and be responsible for it. But if I was, these are the sorts of things that I'd look out for, and I just thought I'd share these, and hopefully they're helpful. If you disagree with any of them, then let me know in the comments, whether it be eToro, Instagram, or on YouTube, and just let me know what you look out for, and I'll quite happily go back and forth, and we can discuss it from there. But the first thing that I would look for, which I think should be I hope that everyone does it, and it should be kind of staple, is just a track record of the person. So by track record, what I mean is, ideally I'd be looking at 2 or 3 years, maybe 5. Definitely wouldn't be like a few months. So if we just go on the copy people section, I'm just going to grab Wesley as an example. I hope he doesn't mind. If he even sees this, who knows. But someone like Wesley, for example, has been trading since 2015, and he's been pretty consistent since 2015 with some crazy returns, bar 2018, but you can't really complain with the numbers he's done. But I would argue that 5 years or 6 years of good returns is enough track record for him to demonstrate that he can be responsible with your money and get a decent return on it. Obviously, past results isn't 100% accurate indicator on future results, right? But it would be enough for me to feel confident measuring. It would be a good enough measure for me to copy someone like Wesley. And what you can do to measure a track record as well, just for example's sake, is if you go into this copy people section, you can put the gained at least, and then whatever percentage you're looking for, and then over what time frame. So if I put 20% over the last 2 years, it'd be 10% a year. 2 years, 10% a year is you probably get some pretty risk-free people to copy off the back of that. But anyway, the second thing I would look at is what they've been investing in. So what I mean by that is, you can see here on the copy, we can see who invests in what market, and you can pick different markets, right? Currencies, cryptos, commodities, etc. But what I mean by that is these crazy like anomaly stocks, right? Like Tesla, for example. So that's done 720% in a year. So this is the points 2 and 3 are kind of linked. So what they're trading. So if you look at someone's portfolio, right, and you're interested in copying them, again, it's my opinion. You can disagree if you want. And you see that they've been trading Tesla and they've had some crazy returns. I would argue that I'd want to see more from that person, just because anyone could have bought Tesla, right? I mean, obviously you have to pick the stock, and maybe they've done their research and this sort of stuff. This is why you got to look at other things. But anyone could have bought Tesla a year ago and 7x their money, which kind of links into position size as well, which is point number 3. I'd want to see what their position sizes are, because if someone has 50% of their money in Tesla, I would argue that they have piss poor risk management, and they've just kind of fluked their way into a crazy return, assuming they have crazy returns. So I wouldn't feel comfortable putting my money in with something like that. So what I'd look for is someone who's trading a variety of stocks, or if they're very niche and specialist, then someone who has their position sizes where they're actively managing the portfolio, not just kind of whacking 100% into everything, if that makes sense. So yeah, in regards to what they're invested in, I just want to see that they're investing in things that aren't just these like crazy unicorn stocks that have excelled and they've had a good year. So that kind of ties in with track record, right? So you want a track record, consistent, decent position sizes. Really, position sizes should be like 1 or 2% of the portfolio is what the theory is. But also the frequency of trades. Now, this could be one that people disagree on. I would be a bit nervous if someone was bouncing in and out of trades all the time. I know that that some people, that might be their trading style, and they might be trading on like a short time frame and bouncing in and out. But for me personally, that would put me on edge a little bit too much. I think the kind of final point is what I'd be looking for is someone who sticks to their outlined strategy. So, right, for example, in here, a lot of popular investors will have their strategy there. So that's the one that I've got written in there. And then, where is it? Right, okay, so this guy, Olivier, so you can see that he has his strategy in his like portfolio description, or his description. What is this bit called? Description of himself? Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, I would look for them to stay consistent with that. So if they keep flip-flopping in and out of that and changing their mind, and 1 minute they're long-term hold and hodl and all that, and then the next minute they're like, oh, I'm actually gonna close this position and short this and XYZ, then that would make me that would turn me off a bit as well. So because I've been a bit all over the place, just to summarize, I look for a track record, 2 to 3 years, consistent returns. I'd look at the ability to trade a variety of assets, or like subsets within like the assets, so like lots of different stocks rather than just one stock consistently and that sort of thing. I would also look at position sizes, frequency of trades, and just consistency with their claimed methods of achieving decent returns. So that's the summary, really. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things? 5 things on what to look out for. And a lot of this stuff you can filter on the copy portfolio. So I do have a different video on how to break this down, but I might do one again in the future. So I hope that was helpful. If you disagree with anything, let me know. If there's certain things that you look for that you feel like I've missed, again, let me know. I'm actually kind of interested. I'm super interested to know what people actually look for in popular investors, because there's so many now as well. I don't know if anyone's like been on the platform before, but I remember a time when I'm old man. I remember a time when this wasn't such a crazy thing. I feel like everyone and their grandma is like a popular investor, or at least got the blue star, or, you know. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope everyone has a good 2021. I'll be pretty regular with these, so if you enjoyed this sort of video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share. And if you want to chat about anything, I'm always available. You can reach me on eToro, YouTube, Instagram, the whole lot. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll probably catch you guys some other time. Bye.